Now as many as 8 victims have stepped up. And on Capitol Hill, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and other top House Democrats finally increasing pressure on Congressman John Conyers to resign amid multiple accusations of sexual misconduct. This as Senator Al Franken faces new allegations, and a Senate Ethics Committee has opened preliminary inquiry now into the alleged misconduct. Joining me now to discuss, Ashley Pratt, conservative commentator and U.S. News and World Report contributor, Harmeet Dillon, a Republican strategist and trial lawyer, and back with us, Beverly Hallberg. Let me start with you, Ashley. These developments moving quickly. Now, we've made the observation earlier this week that corporate America is moving very, very quickly. Congress seems to be dragging their feet, and I think one of the things that you're going to have with Conyers is he's going to say to Democrat leaders, well, what's the deal if Al Franken is hanging around, but you guys are pressuring me to leave?
Yeah, I'm not understanding what the difference is between corporate America, the media, and Congress, right? The people in Congress are elected by the American people, and they're supposed to be the best representation of Americans, right? And instead, what we're seeing is behavior that is absolutely despicable. And as more allegations continue to come out against the same people, there seems to be a lack of accountability here. And now I'm happy to be seeing a bipartisan effort on the Hill, but before it was this whole blame game between Democrats and Republicans, when at the end of the day, despicable behavior is not a partisan issue. And that's something that needs to be addressed. So I'm glad that, Pelosi came out and said that Conyers should resign. I think amidst all of these allegations, both Democrats and Republicans should be looking to do that and calling out members as these things happen, especially in light of more allegations, not just one, and calling for investigations into this behavior.
And in both cases, they continue to mount almost every day. You anticipate even more. Harmeet, again, it's in the corporate world, they have these big-time attorneys. They understand, what's at stake, and they're making these decisions fairly quickly. Some would say perhaps without due diligence, but we don't know what evidence that they've seen. And in the case of NBC, they may even be a cover-up, trying to make the management look better for not stepping up to the plate and doing the right thing years ago.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, corporate America, this type of behavior is usually dealt with swiftly because guess what? The shareholders demand accountability. But in Congress, a different standard applies. We're just learning today that a member of Congress from New York was actually had a $100,000 settlement paid out in a sexual harassment scandal. Yet the taxpayers didn't know about it until today. I think that's outrageous, and I agree with Ashley. This is a bipartisan issue, and we need to hold our members accountable, whether they're Republican or Democrats. It's not a partisan issue at all.
But Bev, real quick, Democrats might be in a pickle. Hill Conyers is already throwing out the race card. And again, if they have two sets of rules, one for Al Franken and one for John Conyers, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I find it very hypocritical, too, because when you think about so many Democrat congressmen and congresswomen, they talk about wanting to stand up for women's rights. Yet when you have so many women coming forward against these two individuals, they seem to be defending the men and not the women. So I'm not quite sure why there is this hypocrisy. And I would say another thing we do need to keep in mind is more and more people do seem to be exposing men who have treated them this way, is that there is a difference between what we saw from, let's say, Congressman Joe Barton, who had a consensual relationship with a woman. Now, it was infidelity, so don't get me wrong. He's already said that he's not going to run for re-election. But I think as we have accusations coming out, we need to make a big difference for what's consensual but inappropriate versus what is harassment, especially in some cases where we're talking about minors. So those are the two things I think we also need to take into account.
I think ultimately all of that stuff will be hashed out, but we're in the midst of this, in the throes of it, and everyone's been thrown in the same category. Certainly, that's not always the case. Ladies, thank you all very, very much. Sorry we were short on time. A lot of breaking news. We'll be right back.